Her sport, her life.
This is Her Why.
Here's your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so excited to have you here with us on Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. Today's guest is Haley Steed, BYU's all-time assist leader, a former All-American, and one of the grittiest guards to ever wear a Cougar uniform. She played 7 seasons for BYU, battled back from 3 ACL tears, and left a legacy of leadership and toughness that still stands out in the program today. She's also spent the past few years coaching the next generation, including time as a head girls basketball coach at Timpview and Timpanogos High School. And on top of that, she's raising 5 kids, running marathons, and still finding ways to compete. Haley, did I miss anything?
Oh my gosh.
Should I keep going?
No, please.
That's so
I feel
much.
like, wow, this just feels like a different lifetime ago.
You're like, I did all that?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on with me.
Yeah, this is fun. I'm glad to be here.
This is really fun. You were playing when I first started working at BYU, and I just was like, she's amazing. She's incredible. You were so fun to watch.
Oh, that's so nice.
And seriously, so gritty. So now you have 5 young kids at home. You have twin girls that are almost 10 years old. Tell me about all your kids, like in a few words, their names, their ages. What are they like?
So I'll say, like, overall, this is kind of crazy, but we're a soccer family.
Wow.
Yeah, my kids are all like
Did you
really
ever think
into
that
soccer.
would happen?
Well, I grew up playing soccer. I probably played as much soccer as basketball growing up. And my husband was a big soccer player growing up too. So I don't know. I guess it was in the blood, but all of them have just fallen in love with it. So we're trying to sprinkle some basketball in there, but we're a soccer family right now.
You're
Totally.
doing
It's
soccer.
fun. It's really fun. I'm a soccer mom.
Wow.
So that's like an overview of kind of what it looks like at our house. But I don't know. We were just kind of talking. Our kids are so different. Like you have, they're all grown up under the same roof, and even my girls who are identical twins, so different. So my oldest is 11, Dawson, and he is like just your typical oldest child. Responsible, reliable. He's a sports nut. He loves everything sports. And then the girls, Kaya I've got one that's like super strong-headed, strong-willed, kind of got that self-disciplined personality. And then Hadley, same exact genes, and like just couldn't be a different personality type.
Wow.
Like she's relationship-driven. She's like tender, nurturing, so loyal. Then there's Graham. He's like our Spitfire, 100%. Wears his emotions on his sleeve. Goes 1,000% into every single thing that he does. And then our baby Sai, who's just funny, witty, easygoing. Just your
The
everyday
typical
youngest child. Yep.
And how old is your baby?
He's 5.
5 years old. Oh my gosh, going into kindergarten.
Going into kindergarten.
That is so. It really is amazing that the kids come from the two of you and they just turn out completely different. You're like,
it's crazy.
You're like, how did you come from me? You're nothing like me. You're nothing like each other. It's just amazing.
It's amazing. It's fun.
So no starting lineup with the 5. That wasn't the plan. You mentioned that it was more your husband's idea to have 5 kids, but
yeah, I was.
Have you ever dreamt of that? Like we got 5 kids. That's a starting lineup right there.
That is a starting lineup. We should play basketball. We're switching. We're going to basketball.
That was it.
Yep.
You're doing no more soccer.
We're switching.
All right, there's so much to your story, but let's start with this. You've coached at both Timpanogos and Timpview High School. How would you say that those experiences shape you as a coach and as a person?
Oh, coaching high school is so fun. And I recently resigned in the spring just because my kids are getting too busy now, and it just doesn't work with our schedule anymore. But I hope to circle back around to it at some point because it was so fun. Like as a coach, I think the best part is just, I shouldn't say it has nothing to do with basketball because that's what you're doing every day. But basketball is just a platform for life. Mm-hmm. It's you're trying to develop human beings, and it's so fun to use basketball in that sense. Like, you're trying to get these girls in such like an important time in their life. They're showing up to the basketball gym, and you're using basketball as this great platform to develop confidence and amazing life skills and character building things. And that's what I loved by far the most about it was just seeing like just the growth of these girls who are in their youth.
And they don't even know at this point what that's going to mean to them
No.
as they progress in their life.
No. I mean, they're just living in their moment right now. They're having fun. But yeah, when I look back, like sports are so, I mean, that is the reason that my kids are in sports, that we're like, we're signing you up for sports.
Yeah.
Because this is like our investment in you as a human,
Right.
in your development as a person.
Absolutely.
And there's just so many awesome things that you can learn in sports.
And that you can't learn really, truly any other way.
No.
It's crazy. So
it is.
you decide to step away to spend more time with your family. Was that a tough choice for you? Because you'd spent several years now as a coach.
Yeah. I mean, it was a hard choice, but at the same time, it was like one of those choices that I knew it was the right choice. So
Yeah.
super hard to step away and just say like, okay, we got to close the door of coaching for a minute. I love it. Gonna close it for a minute. But I was confident that it was the right choice. And I think any time in my life that I've reached a point where it was like, okay, we got to make this big choice, and I know that I'm choosing the right one, it makes it easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about how you got into coaching in the first place. How did that happen?
Yeah. So we live really close to Timpanogos High School. And I was on the BYU women's staff for a couple of years before I gave birth to my twins. So like my last day at BYU was the night before I gave birth. We had like an exhibition game. So I was like at the Marriott Center that night before, and I knew I was getting induced the next morning. But like we all knew that was my last day. Like that was the plan. And so I kind of like took it easy. I had the twins in November, took it easy for a whole, I guess it wasn't very long. Maybe like half a year, 6
days.
months. Anyways, I got a phone call. It was like, hey, the Timpanogos High School job is opening up. Would you be interested in coming to interview? And like, oh, that was just too tempting.
Yeah.
I was like, gosh, that's like right next door. Like I could just take my kids, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I went and interviewed, and it just felt like a good fit for both me and the program. So I was there for 2 years, and then at which point I had my fourth baby, and I had 4 kids that were 3 and under.
Oh my
So I had to
gosh.
step away from that for a couple of years too. I was like, it's just not possible. I mean, my kids were just babies.
Yeah.
So super fun 2 years at Timpanogos, and then had to step away. And then I don't know how many years I took off, just a couple, 2 or 3 years off. And then I ended up back at Timview. I was ready to jump back in.
Yeah. So tell me so you take a few years off, you got your 4 babies, and then what made you ready to go back at it again?
So then I had a 5th baby during COVID in 2020. And shortly after I had him, Wendy and I, who was the director of basketball operations my last couple of years playing here, she was then became the athletic director at Timview. And she called me and was like, our girls' basketball job is opening up. Have you considered like jumping back in? And I'm just like, oh, Wendy, you know my weak spot. So yeah. And then at that point, I went and interviewed and jumped back in, and I was at Timview for 4 years before I just stepped down, and it was so fun. My kids were old enough during this stint that they just spent a ton of time at the gym, playing, exploring. They loved the team. The team was so cute with my kids, and it was kind of just a whole family experience. It was so fun.
I was going to ask you about that, like what your kids did while you were coaching, if they just kind of ran around. You're like, here's your little spot.
I don't know
that
what
you
they
play.
did. I'm
I
like,
have no idea.
I was hoping that they were alive somewhere. They would,
Climbing
but they
up
would
the
get
bleachers.
lost. And I mean, that's how I grew up. My dad was a coach. I grew up in a gym. Like that's childhood to me.
Yeah.
Showing up at the gym, playing underneath the bleachers, collecting weird things. I don't know what they were doing, but they had fun.
including diseases, but it's fine.
Probably.
I know, and you loved it though. You
Oh
loved
yeah,
it.
loved it.
So
And my kids
cool.
were really sad when I resigned. Like they were like, "No, Mom, don't do it." But
But you just felt like that was the right thing to do.
It was.
Yeah.
I just came to the point where I was like, if I have to miss my own kids' stuff
Yeah.
to attend other people's kids' stuff,
Yeah.
I just got to draw the line there.
Yeah.
I can't miss this time in their lives. So
Makes sense. You were always known as a coach on the floor, even when you played at BYU. How did you learn to shift the instinct from player to coach when you were on the sidelines as a coach?
yeah, I feel like my injuries, I mean, I had 3 injury years at BYU, and I feel like those 3 years were like a huge part of me realizing that I wanted to coach and kind of having that different sideline perspective. I was forced into that sideline role for 3 straight years, and so I think that's when I really just found a deeper appreciation for the game, just on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that was for sure when I realized, like, I want to coach, because even when I can't play, like, I just find myself wanting to be around the game and like learn more about the game. And so I think that also helped me to transition easier from player to coach. But also, like, I don't know, when you're a point guard, you kind of play that coach on the floor role. And so it translates. It totally translates.
That's interesting that it was during your injuries that you were like, hey, I could do this.
Yeah.
I could be a coach.
Yeah.
You would say that's kind of when it dawned on you, like, maybe I can do this in my
like
future.
I said it several times when I was out those 3 years, like, I think I want to coach someday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What role did your own coaches like Jeff Judkins play in planting that seed as well?
Oh, like a huge role. Juddy was, when I think of like how I know the game of basketball, that's Juddy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was a basketball mind. I mean, he is a basketball mind. He just, the way that he was able to teach the game, the way that he saw the game, and then the way that he taught both defense and offense. I mean, I think he's a genius. And when I think of what my knowledge level was coming into college, I'm like, I think I was just street balling out there. I don't know what I was doing. Like, I don't know. It was just, he was very instrumental in me learning the game at a level that I felt like I could coach.
You're like, I didn't know this much actually went into this game. I
Absolutely
thought I was just
not. No, like
playing a game.
Totally. It went from like just, fun game. Love it. Love to play, to like, wow, there's so much to this. It's so intricate and beautiful, really.
Is there anything that Juddy used to say or do that you caught yourself doing as a head coach yourself?
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I totally copycatted like drills and the way that he taught both offense and defense. Like, I used so much of what he was just such a good teacher. And so tons of what I did as a coach came straight from him. Like, just totally straight up stole it from him. And of course, you sprinkle your own little taste or whatever into that. But like, I credit him with like so much of what I know and what I was able to do as a coach.
So before you started coaching, as you mentioned before, you spent time as BYU's director of women's basketball operations. So you had just got done playing when you took that job, right? So how did that come about?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was done playing, I was old. Like, I was
old, quote unquote old, right?
Quote unquote old for the team.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like grandma status for a basketball player. It was like I had just finished my 7th year, so like, I mean, I was playing with girls 7 years younger than me. That's like a big difference, when you're. So I felt like my senior year especially, I just kind of had a different role on the team. I don't really want to say like team mom, because that's not really how I acted. But like, I was just older, and I think it was a really natural transition for me to step into that role. Like I said, Wendy and I at the time was the director of operations, and we kind of all knew that she was going to leave because she's from Hawaii. Her mother was sick, and she wanted to go back to the island and be with her mom. And she ended up getting a job at the University of Hawaii on their staff. And we kind of all knew that was happening. And I had let Jetty know that, like, I'm really interested in like stepping in and taking Wendy's spot. So it wasn't a surprise. Like, it was something that had kind of been led up to. And I mean, it felt like a natural transition for me. So I don't know, maybe the players were like, but I loved it. And I felt like those 2 years were so fun on the staff. And I was able to see a totally different side of everything. So it was fun.
That had to have been kind of weird, though, like automatically stepping from a player to more of a coach's role when you're like, I want to be on the court. Like, that was hard. It's gotta be weird.
That was really hard. Yeah, that's when you sit there and realize, like, dang, I took it for granted. Like, the playing days, they're over now.
Yeah.
And you don't, when we were saying, when you're in that moment, you don't even know that you should be enjoying it that much.
Right.
I mean, I feel like I did have a little bit different perspective after my injuries.
Yeah.
Like, I do feel like I soaked it in and appreciated it. But that moment hits you when you're done and you're like, this is my spot's on the sidelines now till forever. Darn it.
Gosh, that sounded really depressing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sad. Those were good days.
But awesome in a different way, right?
Totally.
Yeah. Another part of your journey. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk about Haley's record-setting career at BYU, battling injuries, and what kept her pushing through. Plus, we'll get into some of her favorite memories from her playing days and the teammates who made them special. This is Her Why. Family. Isn't it about sports? At least that's the case in my family. We're all about family and sports on the Royal Legacy podcast, hosted by yours truly. We dive deep into the family connections of the Cougars who played and coached at BYU. New episodes every Thursday on the BYU radio app or wherever you catch your podcasts. Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McLean, here with former BYU basketball star Haley Steed. Let's talk about your BYU days, because they were incredible. Let's reminisce a little bit. What made you choose BYU in the first place as where you wanted to take your talents to?
That's a great question, because this is funny, but it's true. I grew up knowing from a pretty young age that, like, I wanted to play basketball in college. Like, that was the goal from pretty young. But I did not want to go to BYU.
Like, too close to home.
I honestly, I don't even know why. I just know, like, I had these, like, USC was always like, because Love and Basketball, like, came out around then. So, like, USC was, or like UCLA, or, like UConn, and that was the place to go. But, like, I literally would say, like, I'm not going to BYU. No way. And I don't know why. Like, we weren't really a BYU or Utah family. We just, anyways, I got invited to the elite camp after my freshman year, and I was like, no. I said no.
Wow. And
Jenny Keel, who was on the BYU team at the time, called me and was like, and like I really looked up to Jenny because we went to the same high school, and she was like, she was like the model of what you wanted to be at Clearfield High School. And so Jenny called me and was like, Haley, you really need to come to this camp. And like, I couldn't say no to Jenny. I was like, okay, I'll come to the camp. So I went to the camp, and like, literally after that camp, I like ran home and wrote in my journal, like, BYU's the place. I want to go to BYU. Got to go to BYU. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the coaching staff, fell in love with just, BYU is just, it's a unique place. Mm-hmm. And I just knew right after that camp, like, this is where I want to be.
Wow. So was that it? Were you recruited by other teams?
Yeah, like, recruiting was so different. Like, nothing like what it is now. But there were a couple schools that, even after, so I committed to BYU the first week of my junior year. And I didn't ever entertain any other schools. There were only a couple schools that, like, after my commitment continued to, like, kind of press. But I literally just, like, made the commitment and never looked back. Like, never even considered anything else. I just felt so confident in my decision.
That's amazing. They made a huge impression on you then.
Yeah, it was just, camp. I fell in love with everything at the camp. Yeah.
You were there for 7 years, like you mentioned. That's a huge chunk of your life. Like,
huge.
Just short of a decade. So this might be hard to sum up, but how would you say you grew as a person and a player during those 7 years?
I mean, my time at BYU was totally transformational. I mean, the person that I was when I got to be I got to BYU as a 17-year-old.
Wow.
And, you know, seriously, I don't think one day in my life goes by without me thinking of or looking back on or remembering or drawing upon my experiences here. Like, I think that's safe to say. Like, not a day goes by. It was just, I mean, my time here really means everything to me still. I'm so glad this is where I ended up, especially with what my experience ended up being. This is where I needed to be.
Yeah. Is this where you met your husband as well?
I was here when I met him. He was not. He went to Weber State.
Okay.
And then we met through mutual friends while I was here, but he never attended BYU.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back even farther. When did you start playing basketball? Because this is interesting to me because you're 5'4", is that right?
Yeah.
Which can be on the shorter side
It's
for
a
Division I
very-
basketball,
yes.
even for a point guard.
Yeah.
So when did you first get that love for basketball, and then we'll go from there?
It's too early for me to even remember. Like I fell in love with it as a little girl, and I loved all sports. Like I grew up, I told you I played soccer, but anything that the boys in the neighborhood were playing, football, whatever, I was there. I was a total tomboy and wanted to play any sport, but like basketball was just from the very beginning, like my love. I loved it. I was passionate about it. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I just never questioned it. Like that was just my thing.
So did anyone ever try and persuade you against it, knowing that you were going to be a little bit shorter, where they're like, okay, stick with soccer or softball or
everyone
something else?
in the soccer world was just like just so bothered, you know, that like why basketball? Like look at you're not a basketball player. I much more physically fit the mold of a soccer player, like for sure. Like I look like a soccer player.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think a lot of my coaches, because I was, you know, I'm like wishy-washy in my commitment with my soccer teams because, you know, I've got a basketball game. I'm sorry, I have to miss practice or I have to, and basketball just always came first. And yeah, there were a lot of people that I know there was a lot of people that doubted, like, okay, well, she thinks she's going to play basketball. But so for sure I had that.
Did that just make you more motivated though? Like, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong because I'm dang good at this.
Yeah, I think honestly for me, like I didn't even feel like I had to prove anybody wrong. Like I knew that that's what I was supposed to do. Like that's just what I was made to do. I just knew it. And so it didn't even bother me when people were like I just am like, okay. It didn't even bother me. Like I didn't even care what they thought or what they said about it. I felt confident in my path.
That type of confidence is incredible. Do you see that in any of your kids? Like when you picture yourself as a little girl, which one of your kids kind of comes to mind?
Yeah, so one of my twins, Kaya, she very much has my kind of same mindset. And she's hard. Like she's difficult to parent sometimes because she's so strong-headed. But she has that little kind of like quiet inner confidence too, where she's just like, you can tell like she just doesn't really care what other people say or think. Like it doesn't bother her. Like she just has this just like whatever. I know who I am, and I would say like I totally feel like we connect in that. Yeah.
That's an incredible thing to have as a young girl. I think it's an important thing as well. You were known for being the ultimate floor general, and you still hold the all-time assist record of BYU, which is pretty dang cool. What does that record mean to you today?
Honestly, I mean, I think what it means most to me is just like it's my sign or like representation of the adversity that I went through. I mean, that's really what it is. It's just that I battled it out long enough to play in enough games to like get enough assists to be in the record books. Like just knowing what I went through and where I had to come from in order to get in that position. I think that's what it means to me more than anything. That, and to get assists, you have to play with really, really good players.
Yeah.
And I was like so blessed to play with incredible players. And obviously, that's the only way to get assists. You need other people's help to get to that record, and I had that.
Let's talk about some of those players, because you played with teammates like Jennifer Hampson, Morgan Bailey, Lexi Eaton. What stands out to you about that era of BYU basketball?
Oh man, all those girls were so fun to play with. I mean, I had the best role of all, like just the facilitator to these amazing athletes. Like that was a dream come true. That was so fun. I'll say, like, I loved in the era that I played how dominant our post play was. Like, you know, when I got to BYU, it was like Danny Kubik, who was like she was the conference player of the year. And then, yeah, like Jen, Kristen Riley, Morgan Bailey. Like, we were just dominant in the post. I mean, you're a guard and you can like throw it inside and your posts are going to dominate like that. That's so fun. And it just doesn't exist as much in basketball anymore, I feel like. You don't see, like, maybe a little more in the women's game than the men's game, but like I wish that would be taught more. Like, everybody wants to be a guard now. Yeah. Everybody wants to shoot threes. Everybody wants to practice, you know.
Yeah, that's where the game's going.
It is. And but like I really miss just the like pound it inside.
Yeah.
Grind it out. Like, I would love to see more tall girls working on their inside game.
I love that. It's fun to watch too.
So fun to watch.
That's like something I miss about even in the NBA, like kind of old school NBA is just throw it to the big guys and see
let them
what
go
they
to
can
work.
do with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were headlines after you graduated about how hard it would be to replace you at point guard. Jeff Judkins even called you one of the best players in school history. What did it mean for you to hear that?
Yeah, that's wild for me to even think about. I mean, there's so many people that have been through this program that I look up to, and like, it's hard to even picture myself in that same category. But I mean, I think Juddy, he coached so many good players, and I think I was so lucky to be able to play for him for 7 years that like we were just on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, I knew by the time I was playing and healthy again, like I felt like I had such an advantage in like knowing exactly what he wanted, knowing how to communicate that to the team. And truly, I feel like I had a little bit of a cheat code with my injuries. Like, I know that sounds weird, but like to be around the program and be involved in what's going on for 3 years and then have 4 more years of eligibility. Yeah. Like, the experience of that is a cheat code.
Yeah. Did you ever feel pressure, though, maybe not even directly from Juddy, but knowing that you were kind of the floor general, you were kind of the girl that they were relying on? Did you ever feel that pressure, especially towards the end of your career?
Not in a negative way. I would say, like, whatever I was feeling was exactly what I wanted to be feeling and like what I had dreamed of feeling. Yeah. So it just definitely wasn't any sort of pressure that I was feeling like overwhelmed or it was just what I grew up wanting to do and wanting to feel that way. So it was just so fun.
Another great player we recently had on our podcast was Paisley Johnson-Hardy, and she mentioned you that she got to coach with you. And she played with you in the Provo League. Yeah. As well, the Provo League. That just, listen, with Kaylani Unga and Morgan Bailey, that just seems not fair. So, do you guys still play together ever?
Oh, my gosh. I wish that I played. I think those girls all still do play some. I know Paisley's been playing, but I stopped playing. There was a really good group. I think there still is in the Provo area that gets together and plays frequently. But I stopped playing probably, 5 years ago. And I just, my body. Yeah. It just, the risk reward in this now is like, nope, I'm not risking an injury. I don't. Because the thing is, too, is you get out there on the court and like your mind knows what it wants to do, but body's not getting it done anymore. So I don't ever play anymore. But a lot of those women do, and they're amazing. They play well into their 40s, and it's good ball. Like, you go and it's like it's quality basketball, and so mad respect for all those girls that still play.
because the competitive spirit still comes out no matter if you're in your 30s or 40s or whatever. And there is risk of injury, but let's talk about your ACL injuries that you've brought up a few times. You tore your ACL 3 times during your college career. How was the recovery different for each one of those? I can't imagine mentally how you would handle that, but what was that like for you?
Yeah, mentally for sure was the most difficult part of it all. But yeah, every injury, every time was just a little bit different. I mean, the first time is just like completely devastating because I just had never experienced an injury before. Like, this was the first time in my life that like real adversity hit me.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, things are going great. I'm living my dream, and then it was just like, bam. And it was really, really hard the first time just because this was just my first test, my first real test. And then, each time I just feel like it was equally as devastating, but I just feel like I had a different level of maturity with each injury. And I grew so much as a person through all of that. And honestly, a big part of that was, to that point in my life, basketball was my identity, more or less. Like, that's what I did. That's kind of who I was. And I kind of had to find a different identity in those 3 years where I'm like, I can't play basketball right now. So like, who am I? What do I represent? Like, who am I? And that was a really, really valuable time in my life, just to realize like, man, life goes way beyond basketball. Yeah. I can't just be a basketball player. That's not going to work. And so I think as a person, just as a human being, I had so much important development that had to happen in those 3 years.
I can't imagine after your third tear being like, here we go again. Was there ever a time you even toyed with the thought of maybe giving it up?
Oh, yeah. I think right after I tore it for the third time, for like a few weeks there, I was like, done. I'm not even going to try for this anymore. I'm done. And I think mentally that's just kind of what I needed to tell myself at the time, because I just needed a break mentally. But I don't think it took very long after that before I realized, like, I don't want to be done. What's the worst that could happen? I come back and tear it again. Like, I've already done this. I can do it again.
I've been there,
done that. So I felt like that. I just did not want to be known as like the ACL girl.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she went to BYU, tore ACL 3 times. I just didn't feel like I was done. And so it was a crazy journey, but when I look back, like, that is legitimately the best thing that possibly could have happened in my life, was to have those 3 years.
Are there any lingering things physically from those ACL tears, or
no? You
feel great.
It's pretty wild that my knees they're great. I have no knee pain. I was very, very fortunate through those 3 ACL tears to make it out of there with most of my cartilage still intact, which is like super rare. Usually when you tear your ACL, you really mess up your cartilage, and they were able to just like repair my cartilage in all of my surgeries to the point where they didn't have to take much out ever. And so I think for like longevity, I was so lucky.
Wow.
So blessed that like I really don't have any lingering knee stuff at all.
Which we're going to get to this in a little bit. You're running marathons, and that's just mind-blowing. Actually, let's talk about it now. Life outside of basketball. You and your husband, he runs as well, right?
So he's kind of on and off. Like he'll get into it and be like, I'm going to run a half marathon.
I hate people like that.
And then he'll be like, I'm taking a break for a while. So
wow. So how did you get into running? You have this love for basketball, and then you tried to transition a little bit. How'd that happen? I did not try to transition to running. I mean, I think when you grow up as an athlete, like, running is like this dreaded activity, right? Yeah. So I didn't run at all. Like, I shouldn't say it at all. I would go out for a run every once in a while, but like not a runner at all. And then during COVID, after I gave birth to Sai, there was some ladies in my neighborhood that were like, hey, do you ever run? I'm like, no, I don't. And
And they're like, well, you should run with us. We go out in the morning, early in the mornings. We're back like before the kids wake up. And it's just like a good chat.
Yeah.
And so I'm like thinking, oh, I don't really want to run with people. Like I don't know what the expectations are here. Like I'm really competitive. Like, am I just going to just casually jog along? Like, I didn't really even know how to handle that situation. So I ended up agreeing to go, and it was like the greatest thing ever. I just started running with these two ladies, and I didn't even really know them before we started running, but we ran that summer every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m. And that's when I fell in love with running, when it became social instead of like a dreaded punishment or something. So that was the summer of 2020. Yeah, that was like COVID summer. And I totally fell in love with running like as a sport that summer. And it's just kind of evolved from there.
And you ended up running the Boston Marathon, right?
Yeah, I did in 2023.
So what made you want to take on that challenge? Because that's obviously probably the most famous marathon that I know of anyway. So
it was
how'd
super
that come
cool.
about?
So after I had been running with these ladies now for a couple of years, I was like, oh, I'm in pretty good shape. I should sign up for like a half marathon. So me and my husband ran a half marathon together, the Utah Valley. This was in 2022. And like, so we run the half. And when I finished the half, I'm like, you know what? Like, I think I could run a marathon. I think I'm going to try for that. Like that was pretty much the thought process. Like, I think I'm going to try this. So I went home, signed up for a marathon in that September and started training. And then my son Dawson was like, he started like asking me questions about the Boston Marathon and like, well, do you think you could qualify? Like, do you think you could? And I'm like, Dawson,
why are you doing this to me?
Yeah. So then, of course, my wheels start spinning. I start getting competitive, and I'm like, well, maybe we could. Yeah, I think I'll try for it. Like, I don't know. It was just something competitive and exciting to like have a goal towards and work towards. So I did. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try to qualify for Boston. And so it was the Big Cottonwood Marathon, and I ended up qualifying for Boston. And I had a good friend at Timpview.
And that was your first marathon, and you qualified.
Yeah, it was. It was like, I don't know. I still feel like it was beginner's luck. Like, it was like I was just totally ignorant to like the world of running, and I just went out there like free. Let's just make this happen, and it worked. But like, I don't know. It was pretty wild. It was really fun. And then I ended up going to run Boston, which was like an incredible experience. That is like that whole experience of Boston and how they show up for that event was just like, it was so cool. I want to go back so bad now because I was so naive. I just had I've never lived in the running world before.
Right.
So now I want another chance at it so I can like go enjoy it more.
How would you describe what that experience was like compared to competing on a basketball court?
Oh, the biggest difference is like when I play basketball, I'm like confident. Like, I feel like I worked my whole life for that. So I'm like, feel like I'm where I belong. I am like a fish out of water running. I'm like the dork running. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. My form is probably terrible. I'm probably not following like all the runner protocol or everything that you're supposed to do, but I'm learning as I go. It's really fun. I have so much respect for like people who are in the sport of running now, like so much respect and admiration for those people because the mental part of running is unbelievable. And
you're just in your own head. I mean, you're just there with your own thoughts for who knows how long.
A long time.
That just sounds
too
terrifying to me for many reasons. You mentioned that your husband's kind of in and out of these marathons and running with you, but are you guys ever competitive with each other? The two of you?
We're both very competitive. But I wouldn't say we've ever been like super competitive with each other. Well, yeah, like we'll go play pickleball and we're competitive, but like
it's always pickleball.
It's pickleball. I know. Or golf. We really like to golf together. But I would say like we don't get like super competitive with each other where it's like, okay, we've reached an unhealthy level of competitiveness here. Like
It's more to push each other a little bit.
He's very level-headed. Like, if anybody was going to get too competitive, it would for sure be me. And he would be the one that would be like, why are you acting like that? You know, like, he's very level-headed. So we are both really competitive, but we can go enjoy doing activities together without getting too competitive for sure.
Okay. Yeah, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That sounds like my relationship with my husband, if I'm being honest, where he's like, that's a little weird.
Honey, you need
Like,
to
let's tone that down a smidge here.
Like, we're in public, sweetie.
Which I love this. I love for you and your husband that you have just a household of athletes too.
It's really fun.
Kids that love to play. What's that like for you being an athlete, like an amazing athlete, and seeing your kids kind of take to something that you love yourself?
It's really fun. Like, sometimes it's really hard to be the parent on the sideline because, of course, I mean, any parent that's watched their kids play sports know that, like, sometimes you just like hyper focus on your kid.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you just try not to do that because you just want to be nitpicky.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. Like, you know, you don't want to ruin the sport for your kid. So it's really fun. It's hard sometimes, but like watching them play and compete, like I get so excited to go to their games. Like, it's a different feeling than obviously when you're playing, but like just the joy and the excitement that both me and my husband get when it's like, oh, we have a tournament this weekend. Like, it's so fun. We're just having a blast in this stage of life.
That's got to be kind of hard for you because you are a coach. I mean, like, you're used to coaching young kids to just be on the sideline and step back and just watch. Ooh.
It's hard. And I will say this, Dawson, our oldest, his very first soccer tournament, I still remember, like, they were little, like 8 years old, I don't know. And the game starts and I like start yelling something, you know, because this is my first instinct, like, Dawson, just work, you need to work harder. I don't even know what I was saying, but I'm like coaching him, and his coach like walks right over to me and my husband, me and Bo, and he's like, we're not doing that on this sideline. Like,
really?
Totally put us in our place. And I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Wow.
Like, sweet. I appreciate that so much in a coach that's just going to, like, this was their very first tournament as a team. And he basically just said to the parents, like, you're not yelling at the refs and you're not coaching. That's not how it works on this sideline. And because he set that standard from the very start, like, to this day, that team's been together for like 6 or 7 years now. And like, there's just no issues because he set the standard.
Know.
And it was great. I loved it. I loved that the coach did that because then it was easy for me.
Place.
I knew my place, and like, I felt like I was like a little kid getting in trouble on the sideline. But I thought that was so cool of his coach to do that. And just like, it put me in my place big time. Like, as a parent, like, my job is to show up and cheer and support and love, and like, well, let's let the coach do the coaching.
My husband already, so my oldest is 6 years old, and he's like, I will FaceTime you for games. You'll be at home. I'll put you on mute.
And you can watch the game like that.
The game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, it's bad news. So good for you guys for learning early.
Well, we're not always on our best behavior, but like, that was just one instance where it was like, okay, that's my spot.
You've worn so many hats. You've been a student athlete, you've been a coach, you're a mom, you're a marathoner. What part of your identity do you feel most connected to right now?
Oh man, that's a really good question. But like, I would honestly just have to say, like, I just have to ground myself in Christ. Like, that's, no matter what I'm doing, if that's not where I'm grounded, like, things are going to be off. And I've learned that the hard way, unfortunately, like, enough times now to know, like, that's the part of my identity that I have to keep at the center, at the core. And if that's the case, if I can keep that at the middle, everything else will work out. I have my personality type is like pretty easygoing as far as like, I could just
slip kind of into a lot of things. Yeah.
I can sit back. I can be more forward. But like, if I'm grounded in Christ and I've got my priorities in line in the right place, like, everything else will work out. Like, that right there is what I would say, like, that's what I feel connected to.
I think that's amazing advice. I'm here with Haley Steed, former BYU player and high school coach. Haley, you are Incredible. That was so much fun. Thank you
It was
so much
so
for
fun.
coming on with me.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for
You need
having
to
me.
start your own podcast, is what I say.
Oh, heck yeah. Come on, let's do it.
All right, okay. Maybe in the future, we'll brainstorm some names. And
Yeah.
we'll let everybody know. All right, thank you so much, Haley. Thanks again to Annie Robinson for producing this episode with senior producer Cleon Wall. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.